So hello everyone, this is Michi Hoyer from Averconic Racing and I'm live for the very first time here for the Simpit. Thank you very much Sean for having that introduction there yesterday. And I'm very excited for my new task, for my new contribution to do something different. Obviously I'm into streaming and into sim racing quite a lot. And I've started doing some of my own videos already on my own channel, but being here on a Simpit definitely is a pleasure for me, and we'll be very looking forward working together with Sean Cole, really a great guy. So what I've planned for today is a little bit of introduction about myself, a little bit of introduction on what I'm going to do, and yeah, I want to welcome you all guys here on the live stream on the Simpit and hope you have some great fun today. So, since I am an FSR driver and the season has just finished, I'm even more lucky that tasks don't run out at the minute. So, with the new FSR car already being not released but still in beta status, I would like you to bring some little bit of knowledge about the new FSR car. This year, Formula Sim Racing has raced in some 2009 spec Formula 1 car. For next year, this is definitely gonna be a 2017 V6 Formula 1 car, so one of the modern cars. And as I said, this is gonna be an introduction for what I'm going to do. I would like to show you how particularly easy it can be on RFactor to install a mod. This new FSR car hasn't been installed yet to my computer, so all you need to do is you need to select a specific server. Like I'm already in the RFactor 2 launcher, you go multiplayer, you go refresh, then all the server stuff come up, and then you hit, like in this case, we go formulasimracing.net version 2 or number 2. This number 1 car is a car of Marco Conti, and I've already tested that, and you can see it, the 2-hour session on my personal YouTube channel, which is in the description below. And today we're gonna have a little look at the FSR car from Joao Marcelo, which is, well, slightly different, not entirely different, but just a bit. We're gonna see how it feels today. So I want to join this server, and I just join race. And then in this case, happily it's FSR, you're gonna get everything downloaded automatically. So the game downloads the files, it checks the files on integrity, and it will then install all the content in the relevant space. Meanwhile, while this is going on, there will be some live shows where I tell you how to do it manually, where I tell you how to also create your own mod files. So in this case it's very easy. We just wait for the game to start up. And I've just been handed a question, what will I use, and well, it's a G25, a Logitech G25 for 6 or 7 years now. It's already starting to fall apart, I have to admit. But that's how it is sometimes. Nevertheless, it's a great wheel. It has been never out of service since I used it, and I use it quite a lot. So I'm happy about that. I'm sorry, Lizard. I can't really answer that question to you there, since I still, well, race on more cheap equipment. But I'm sure some of the other guys will be on the stream, being able to answer that question. So about me a little bit. I'm a 25-year-old guy from Germany. I live right at the border to France, and I've started sim racing in 2005. Starting with RFactor 1, and from there on things started to get involving. Getting into FSR in 2014, being RFactor 2 World Fastest Gamer finalist in the main event. So yeah, the journey has started quite early, but has got somewhere already, which is sometimes even hard to imagine if you consider where you come from and you do like 10, 11 years of work, and at some point you're gonna be there, and that's just a great feeling. And if you want to know more about me, I would recommend to have a look on the interview Sean Cole did with me in August this year. So yeah, you then will get a little bit more knowledge about myself. So McKeeman, you've just mentioned the pair of field gloves I got here, and yeah, since I get sweaty hands during the races, I used to race with some kind of biking gloves. And on the Sim Racing Expo, I met Dom Doohan, uh, founder and retailer of those field gloves, and yeah, he was kind enough to give me one pair of them, and I really have to say they're really nice. Like, you can feel every scratch, every button, everything is just feels natural, and that's exactly what it should be about. So that's really a great pair of gloves I got handed there. So since the session currently isn't warm up, I'm gonna quickly restart the weekend. Happily I'm alone, so I can do it. Quickly going through the basic settings of this FSR car. It has a fuel can which can get you 146 liters in. Nothing more to tell about here. In this case, there are final settings which still are yet to come, I think. So in the end, you're gonna be able to switch around the gears. Otherwise, standard diff lock. The wing settings probably a bit broken, yet giving a lot of high numbers, and especially in the back. Ref limiter. Well, I think that's the most or the biggest difference between both cars. This only has engine mixture 1 and 2. The other car has like 5 different engine modes and a Q qualification and race mode in terms of fuel burning. I'm sure we will have a look on the other car as well at some point. I just skipped this topic because it's quite difficult for me as well. Otherwise, standard suspension, front suspension, rear suspension. The front is really stiff, which is basically right. In this case, probably it's wrong. Yeah, chassis lateral and sideways and horizontal weight distribution. Tires, just like it's a standard setup, like you would find on any F1 car or something. So because this is an introduction video, I would just tell you what I usually do when building setups, because setup building, track attack, and setup guiding will be one of the key aspects of my introduction and of my contribution to this Simpit channel. Usually I always race maximum pedal force and the lowest possible front disc in case it doesn't break, because a less thick front disc means less weight, and less weight obviously means more speed, less fuel usage, more high speed, especially carrying more speed through the corners. So that's something I would really recommend you. If the brakes is not too high, run at minimum. And other than that, I just go with the medium compound for now and the full fuel tank because usually I would love to set up my car for race. So that's exactly what I'm looking for when building a setup, to have a good and very stabilized setup. Just gonna do the seating correctly so I can have a look into those mirrors. And I usually always start with doing 1 or 2 installation laps, get a little bit more used to the circuit, get used to this car in this case especially. And it's very aggressive in the back. Lizard, exactly, I'm from Germany in the city called Willstedt. It's famous for having a good handball team. I got so much screen stuttering going on that I probably have to turn down the graphic settings a little bit. Bear with me for a second, please. Yeah, the city where I live in is Willstedt. It's like 10 kilometers east from Strasbourg, the big city in France. And yeah, otherwise it's being in the middle between Freiburg and Karlsruhe. That's the two main cities around me. Yeah, that's where I live. So re-entering the server is gonna take a minute probably. Eagle, I do have the race room simulator. I don't want to call it simulator, it's more like being a simcade or a arcade-like game. It's great for fun, definitely. Not sure if I'm gonna do any competitions on it this upcoming 2018 year. I just gave it a shot like 2 weeks ago. If you want to see my opinion on that, you probably have to go to my channel in the description. There I had some little playing on it, and I mean it's fun. It's very fun. Obviously, racing the DTM cars is. I haven't seen any DTM car, any mod with a DTM car being as fun as that. But yeah, I wouldn't call it a proper sim. That's for sure. Tom, I don't really know if I haven't really heard of the impression of a G25, but if I really remember, Sean, he said it's the most reliable thing. It's a good like basic wheel, nothing special, but it works. It can give you a good feedback, and yeah, still it's a good wheel. It's a good wheel, especially for people going to sim racing first. So a good starting wheel, as you can see. I mean, it's 7 years old. Yeah, but that's about it. And the loading time this time is just so big because RFactor now needs to recalibrate and recalculate all the new graphic settings. If you don't change the graphic settings, your loading time is like 20-25 seconds or something, then it's just going generally fast, but for the first time, it's just going that long. Hey Lizard, yes, that's Neustadt an der Weinstraße, near to Landau and on the A65. That is very close to the France border. That's true. I passed the city like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I was on a travel towards Mainz and Wiesbaden. Traffic here in Germany is huge at the minute. Like you have to divert on every single way. Like at the minute the motorways entrance and exit is closed where I just work. So every day I'm delayed for 30 minutes just because I have to go on the land road. Yes, Tom. I'm definitely an RFactor 2 guy, just like Rudy van Buren. I started RFactor 1. I bought RFactor 2 right immediately on release day in January of 2012. That was. So I'm definitely an RFactor 2 guy. And I really love the sim. For me, physically, it's the most complete sim. I cannot really deal with iRacing. There will be some show maybe where take a closer look to several sims. And Assetto Corsa is physic-wise isn't also that good. And I'm not talking on graphics, because graphically RFactor 2 is probably the worst of all. But as I'm more looking into physics, I'm definitely an RFactor 2 guy. Michael, I'm generally just racing open wheelers or Formula cars. I've done some racing in GT cars as well, but preferably I race Formula 1 cars. Right, the stuttering hasn't completely vanished. For some reason this, I don't know whether it's the combination of mod and track, but it's definitely very hard on the performance here. And yeah, as I said, I'm just trying to do somewhat installation lapses first to see the general balance of the car. And it's really aggressive in the back, like all over the sudden the car goes. So before really racing it hard, I just have to check that everything really works. Currently I'm racing it in mode 2, so that probably will be the qualifying mode. All I'm gonna do now is like just open the DRS and see whether the gearing is fine to my liking at the minute. And DRS is available for this hanger straight here. Michael, I'm not really sure whether F1 makes you a better driver. I mean, generally, you can be a good driver in anything. Like if you look at my teammate Martin Stefanko, if you place him in whatever car, he goes quick no matter what. Which is quite interesting sometimes how he does it. Gets me a little bit frustrated sometimes, because usually we just have the same pace, but at some occasion he just hops in the car and goes on pace quite earlier than I do. So I need a little bit longer, but in general, I mean, if you look for reactions, if you look for consistency and driving cars on a limit, F1 is definitely a car to practice a lot on that. But I wouldn't really say that it's like the learning thing. You can go quick on every car, just need to adapt to the specific style. Like a GT car is a lot more understeery, so you need to work different on the set, you need to work different on the driving. Whereas a Formula 1 car can be set up quite oversteery, so that also requires a very different style of driving, very different setup. So yeah, there's no general answer for this. Right, I've just finished my first installation laps, and as I just said, doing a lot of general overseeing how the car balance is about. I will quickly do some changes to it. Could be a little bit more brake map efficiency. It's very understeery while being off throttle, that's why I'll lower the coast. If you got any questions meanwhile, just feel free to ask. I mean, I get busy looking at the chat and trying answering them, but I do it as good as I can. Car feels very stiff, so I think it runs a lot into the packers, which are quite high, especially on the third spring, so I lower them a lot. And with this rear stepping out, that's interesting settings here, I have to say. Usually on a Formula 1 car the front is a lot stiffer than the rear, so it's the front giving the direction and the rear trying to follow. And you want to have a very stable car, so you need a rear that's following very easy. So that's it for now. Going out and driving it again and trying to go a little faster. This camber is definitely too high to my liking, so I probably am not gonna have a little bit more braking in the back, which would be good. So I'm going out again, just waiting for the car to start. It got some retardedly noisy engine starter, which is yeah, needs a little work on that. So as you guys are watching, I know that in America currently there's Thanksgiving. So I wish you guys happy Thanksgiving here. I know you guys have a day work off. So most of you, I think. I'm not as lucky as you today. So yeah, enjoy yourself and have some great time. No simulator maniac. This car currently is more like a 2017 car. So in 2018, holy moly, we race a 2017 car because last year there was the discussion whether to do this already in 2017. But FSR administration then decided for go something older because we didn't really knew whether the mods of 2017 cars available by the beginning of Formula 1 race gonna be as accurate as it would have been required. There was some ASR mod or something, which was weird in terms of the engine modes and power it produced them. So I think for this year, staying with the older car was the right decision. So the car in itself is very understeery. It's a bit too understeery still to my liking, especially aerodynamical. And the rear is coming quite early. Driving a new FSR car is always a special thing because those cars are mainly being programmed physically from scratch. So the modders change a little value in the back and the car is an entirely new balance, which sometimes is good. In this case, in the rear, I think it's bad, because if the rear goes sideways, yeah, it's gone. I just wanted to demonstrate. So in this case, you don't drive this car sideways at all whatsoever. And that's just a little wrong to me. I mean, the car has massive grip. It has also massive grip in the back. But once the grip slips away, there's no way catching it. And as you've seen, currently there's no password on this RFactor 2 server. So if you're eager on yeah, proving my driving skills, feel free to join that server later on. Just go to Formula Sim Racing server 2, click join, and the content will automatically be downloaded.
The lap was a 1:50.30.
I'm sorry, Michael, I really have to admit that my knowledge on damper settings is quite limited, but the difference between camber and rebound is that, well, those two things do not really relate to each other. The camber is the amount of angle, or the degree of angle the wheel is pointing to. Like on a Formula 1 car, you always race negative camber, Currently we got 3.5. That means that the front tires are standing like this, looking to each other at the top and going further away from each other where they touch the ground. Which then, when the car is in corners, just like here, Mackett's, Beckett's, Chapel, the car leans on the left hand side and the right hand side and gives it a little bit of roll. And when having the tires looking like that, then the contact between the surface and the tire, the contact amount or the contact square, is a lot higher. Oh yeah. So interesting to drive this car. And Simulator Maniac, I think I'd definitely have a look in your RFactor 1 2017 car and just see how you get along with this, as I'm just trying to master that thing around the lab. But as you can see, it's a certain RPM, the engine torque kicks in and the car becomes easily sideways. In real F1 you would speak of a bad drivability of the engine. So definitely interesting to drive it. Hey Rom, thank you also for joining the show here. Yeah, quite right, it's the first stream for me here on the Simpit, and yeah, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a teaser of what's about to come. Maybe in future shows me and Sean gonna do something together. We definitely work hard together with each other, so we will see whether we do some streaming together at some point. And I can all of you, I can give some positive greets of Sean, saying happy Thanksgiving to all of you as well. Today he's got a day off because of that, so some stuff going on his side, and since I'm free, I'm happy to hop in here. Visual racing, this game, yeah, as you see, it looks, oh dear, it looks quite old. It looks not as bright as iRacing and Assetto Corsa, and that's the reason why it's RFactor 2. I said it in the beginning of the stream already that RFactor 2 probably is not the best looking sim out there. But to my understanding, it's the most complex and the most real sim physics-wise. Not a hell of much difference between iRacing and RFactor 2, just some little details. But in some cases, the details is what it just matter. Right, now looking a little bit, as I'm spinning again. Looking a little bit into driving lines, this is another aspect of my contribution. We're going to look into driving lines quite as well. So Silverstone here thought that's a very good track to have different lines when being in a race car. People of World Fastest Gamer explained it quite well on the upcoming turns 7 and 8. The way you drive this corner simultaneously relates how you approach this one And here you can have a lot of different lines, either being fast in the beginning, the others being fast in the exit. Most likely both are equal if you look at them timing wise. Same goes with maggots, backheads and chapel. You can take them the first two corners really fast, therefore compromise the third and the fourth one of this combination. As well as you can compromise the first and second in order to get quickly and carry a lot of speed on hanger straight through the third and fourth of this combination. So yeah, for certain videos we're gonna have some different driving lines being shown. Good God, I just want to finish one lap without spinning at once.
That was a 1:41.25.
I have to admit, sometimes it's quite difficult to talk and concentrate on the same time. I'm probably gonna try engine mode 1 then for the first time. We'll have a lot less power, but I hope it's a bit better on the drivability. Lizard, by the way, before you go, where do you come from originally? Like, as you said, you have been living in Neustadt for 2 years, you said? Yeah, and Adam says something important. I've done some highlight video of my last race with some DX11 footage. So if you want to compare on the look of the sims to this or to other sims, you may have a look on my channel again, where this highlight video has been posted. And currently I'm running it on DX9 because of all the track map stuff being shown on the display. As I decide to just hop in and get me another fresh set of tires. Not that these tires would be hyperly worn, but they have lost out on some performance already. So I'm just thinking about getting a new set of tires on there, as well as lowering the tire pressures a little bit in the back. To me, downforce looks good in general. Take engine mixture 0 then. Oh yeah, I agree. Those mediums look horrible in the end. Michael, that's actually a fun fact about his Mazda. Well, in the end, people have different relations to their car. Some people just pick their car to getting from A to B. And sometimes people just yeah, like love their cars really. Probably the Germans have a lot more feelings towards their cars. Some Americans have too. No offense to anyone here, but it's just there are two types of people, you know. I have heard Siegen already, but because of my geographical skills, I can't really say where it's located. As I've just seen Martin Stefanko has joined me on the server, which I expected after seeing him on the stream just a few minutes ago, while overcorrecting. So let's try to put the hammer down at some point and go for a quick lap, but as I can see in that low engine mode, I won't be getting anywhere, doing not even 300 on the main straight, so I go back on the full power setting and just try to manage the rears. And those lower cars, the car is very bad to drive. Going down the hangar straight, entering that final sector there. Those V6 cars definitely need to be shifted quite early, just like in real life. Those cars produce the same amount of power in the upper ranges because of their torque. So the higher the RPM goes, the higher the fuel usage goes as well, while there is no power surplus yet. Oh, this car is so bad to drive out of the slow corners, it's actually ridiculous. If you guys got any further questions either to the sim, to the league, to myself, or what the future plans will be, feel free to ask. I've just, as I said, gonna do various type of things, setup guiding, driving line guiding, technical insights like how to host an RFactor 2 server or how to pack RFactor 2 packages and build mods, because RFactor 2 happily is entirely moddable. That yellow blob was a temporary car, so in practice as someone joins, the car textures will just be loaded as soon as I enter the pits again. So in practice this doesn't really matter. For a race that would be horrible though. And that's probably a point where RFactor 2 has still room for improvement. But you know, neither person in life is perfect, so neither sim is. And I'm slowly figuring out how this car can be driven in a good and fast way. This car still needs a lot of tweaking, but if you are deep into sim racing and like Formula cars to race, get yourself a chance, take a drive on this one. Be registered to the Formula Sim Racing forums and give feedback on it to help the modders increase the performance of the car. Yeah, and beside this technical things on how to set up an RFactor 2 thing, as we compare driving lines, we also, well, first we compare them in game while racing, for example, together with Delta Best I'm running at the top. But we're also gonna have a look at the data being produced on Motec at some point. So to give you guys a chance on doing some data analysis. Oh dear. RIP. Alright, that should not be the case. Yeah. So usually RFactor 2, as soon as you have the rear axis off, the car should not drive at all. That's definitely some feedback that needs to be given. So as you can see, this is still work in progress. I'm entirely on fire. Usually a car never moves there in RFactor 2. So that definitely needs to be changed. Yeah, and David O'Reilly was just right. I mean, meanwhile, both cars of either Dominic or Martin should have loaded, which is the case now. And Martin just got out on the softs, which I will then do as well. And I'm further doing some minor clicks to the setup, trying to improve the general grip. And yeah, I have to agree what Martin said. The version of Marco Conti is so much better. Yet the cars haven't been finished yet. So I just give it a final try before ending the stream again. Because I got some other things coming up in the very future, which needs to be worked on. But I'm sure we guys meet here again quite soon. Probably not today. Yeah, just stay tuned in and follow Sean for the latest information about what's going on, what's coming next to me. At some point we're surely gonna do an announcement so you guys can prepare for a special show, either being the setup guide or whatever. If you want to see some kind of setup guiding, I did something already for this FSR car 2017 we had this year. So feel free to join my channel on YouTube and have a look on what this format of program will be like. Of course, you guys are always encouraged and allowed to ask questions, on which I hopefully be able to answer them. Green Sammy, I haven't seen Sean in a rage yet, like in a real rage. So I actually experienced him as a very calm guy. Oh, I'm wrong. I saw him raging once, and that was spectacular. Like I prepared myself a little can of popcorn there. Chris, I won't be exclusively, but preferably on RFactor 2. Since I'm a real RFactor 2 guy. I do not have too much knowledge about the other sims like iRacing, because iRacing is on a little different physics engine. Setting up a car on iRacing and racing the car on iRacing is a little different to RFactor 2. I will also do some promo videos of other types. I mean, this week RFactor 2 announced the Formula E mod coming out. Hopefully before the first real Formula E Grand Prix at Hong Kong. That's something for sure I will have a nose into and ditch in the waters and see how it is like. No, Ron, actually it's a G25 Standard G25 wheel, nothing modified, just as it was produced. Now trying to get in a decent lap again. Yeah, Willie, you are right. There are lots of mirrors at the minute attached to this car, which has the reason of yeah, the FSR car we raced this year had the mirrors so far on the outside I couldn't even see. So I ran virtual mirrors, and well, while being on a sim still I like running virtual mirrors over running the real ones, because you get a little bit more sight, and without the virtual reality glasses, holy cow, and a triple screen setup, because I'm still racing a single screen, you don't see too much of this. So yep, that's why virtual mirrors are in place. Right.
That lap was a 1:39.40.
Let's see what we can do here around. In high speed corners the grip of the car is just incredible, despite running wide here a little bit. I haven't really found out where this car has its power peak, especially when racing it for one lap. So Martin probably already testing on different setups and lower fuel, or running a lot of DRS meanwhile.
That lap was a 1:30.
So guys, if you got any questions left for now, probably now's the time to put them in and get them answered. Ah, that's an interesting failure run there. No letters working on a keyboard. Makes the keyboard pretty much useless, isn't it? Yeah, spinning out again. This car loses its grip so suddenly in the back, it's ridiculous. Well, Michael, I think you can't focus on the turn after the turn you're just approaching. What you usually do is, like, you approach a turn, look for the braking point, found the braking point, hit brakes. As soon as you hit the brakes, look for the apex. When you found the apex, you steer towards it, or you start turning towards it, when you know you're gonna hit the apex, but you haven't hit it yet, you still try looking at the exit, because rule number 1 of car driving, and that will also be told by real car driving instructors, the car goes there where you watch the road. Like, of course, the car doesn't go there by itself, but you initially, in your mind or in your underneath your consciousness, you steer the car towards that point where you're looking at, and the earlier you look at the next point, probably the faster and the better you're gonna reach this. Yeah, but you should still be focused on what you're doing, otherwise you spin out like me did. Michael, at some point you do, in this corner, you think about how you take it in order to get this one right. Same goes with maggots, Beckets and Chapel, which I'm just going to tell you how I do it. The secret about maggots, Beckets and Chapel is to always set your car up right. So in the beginning you go on the outside, so then ditch deep for the first one, you ditch deep for the second one to stay on the outside, ditch deep for the third one to get a perfect run on this one, and here you carry the speed and go out. I mean, this wasn't far from being perfect yet, because I have no really reliability or trust into the car. But running through those corner combinations, you play that mind game or cheese game, and obviously you start playing it when hunting an enemy ahead of you or a contender. Yeah, Dave, this car is incredibly tricky to drive. Like we won't be racing on a car like that, that's for sure. It's incredibly twitchy, it's incredibly bad to drive, and I'm not even driving it on its full limits, because I'm in fear of having a stepping out car all over again. So yeah, definitely not the car to be taken for FSR 2018. Oh, definitely not. I mean, it's already annoying. You start to lose the rear and immediately you can't catch it. Oh yeah, Ron, then you better get a new keyboard if you have to work with virtual keyboards already. So, right chaps, I think for the time being, it's enough of driving for now. I mean, I'm gonna look even more ridiculous if I go on in that car, because it's just undrivable. The guys ahead definitely go with lower fuel, maybe even super soft or ultra soft tires, to like see the real edge of the car. There you go. What I just said, Martin replied to the chat there. All I can say is same here. So yeah, that's it for now. Dave, you're so right. The car just snaps around on every possible occasion, and that's why I'm not going to save any setup, because it's clearly pointless to work on them. Yeah, so that was it for today. The first stream for me here on the Simpit, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Mick, to quickly answer your question, ambition temperature was, I think, 29 degrees. I'm not sure whether the live weather plugin was in place or not. I haven't really looked it up, so you might scroll a little bit backwards on my stream and have a look on the right bottom side where the weather information of my track map is. And yeah, I really hope you guys have enjoyed it. As I said, follow me on my personal stream, on my personal channel. You will find some more information about that. A lot of those will come over here, obviously, because I catch a lot of more guys on this stream for you. So definitely gonna do a lot of work for Sean, a lot of work with Sean together, and we clearly go on a new level yeah, new level of knowledge, new level of competition and analysis going on here. So new type of things clearly will show up. So as I just said, I hope you had a nice evening. You enjoyed really watching. Stay tuned and yeah, follow the Simpit and follow me to get latest information on what's coming on about. You will find some links towards me in the description, since my face is particularly new to a lot of people here. I will put up some links where you can get knowledge of me, where you can get some information, some background information and feedback already. And all I can say, thank you very much for watching. I'm Michi Hoyer from Average Racing, and I'm live here for the Simpit, and I'll see you guys out on track.